Hello and good evening, everyone. My name is Daniela Florio, and I am the host of this podcast for the School of Conscious Evolution. Tonight, my guest is Melinda Ann Ollang, and what can I say about Melinda? Good evening, Melinda, first of all.
Good evening and good evening, everyone.
Okay, so it looks like we are having a little bit of an issue with the live stream on Facebook. So let's have a look. Something has not worked. So let's add this up again. So save changes. Sorry, I apologize.
No worry.
I apologize. Let's see whether the link is live. Let me try. We are live on Facebook. Okay, that's great. The joys of technology, right?
Yes.
Thank God we are live. So we will need to wait a moment for people to join us. So I was just introducing you, and I know that you have come along to my live before.
Yes.
And I just love your energy. I love, I've seen you working on other channels. And I also know that you do an amazing work, particularly with your main, may I say, daytime work, which is end of life doula. Yes. You are also a medium, and you are a trance healer. Am I right?
Trance healer, yes. Trance speaking, yes.
Yes. Sorry, I know. I thought I knew, but and because I've never seen you, obviously, trance healing, it's something that you don't do publicly normally.
Yeah.
So that I've never seen you doing that, but I know that you are, and you do. And when I saw you working as a medium, I see that you come from the place of your heart. And that's the most beautiful connection that as a medium and a spiritual person you can come from. It's pure, real connection. So tonight I just wanted to, I just wanted to ask you about the end of life doula, because as we were chatting earlier on, I mentioned to you that when I talked to some people about you tonight, they went like, oh, I don't know what an end of life doula is. And I go like, what? And it's an amazing service. It provides families with the support they need when a loved one is towards the end of their life. But at the same time, you also help the sick person to prepare them for the passing. Can you talk us through a bit more about this, please?
Well, when it comes to a person that is about to pass and transition, and they're a little bit scared and unsure what's going to happen when they leave this earth, even if they were taught, way back in the day, when it comes to a reality, they really do get a little bit scared of what exactly is going to happen. So you just kind of talk to them about, okay, what was your religion? What was your belief? Did you believe in the eternal life and that the spirit goes on? And do you remember this? And when you do, then you just talk to them about that's exactly what's going to happen. Everybody that has left before you and whatever holy God, Jesus, Mother Mary, whatever it is that you believe in over there, will
Yeah.
be there to greet you and will be there for you. And even loved ones that
Yeah.
you don't even know are going to be there, because when you transition, all is forgiven and everybody comes back again as a big, nice, beautiful
Hmm.
family, and everybody is there.
Yes.
And
Yes.
there has been several people that I know that have transitioned, and right away through mediumship or something, they will come through and they will let me know that yes, it happened exactly as you stated it was going to happen. It happened.
Wow.
And so
Wow.
is what it's beautiful. Just
How
like with my mother, she did, at first she's like, oh, BS. It's not going to happen that way. And then she did come
Mhm.
through, and it happened exactly like she, I told her that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah. Yeah. And I just wanted to say it must be such a powerful experience to, provide, the emotional and spiritual support to someone that knows that will be passing, you know.
yes, yes, not to
How
fear.
how have you learned to deal with that? Because it's obviously a topic that people don't want to talk about.
As
Yet
a
I do
child, I
know.
always go ahead.
Yeah, go on. Go. No, no, no.
As
Go
a
ahead. Go
child,
ahead.
I always have been around a lot of death and people passing, and felt and didn't really know what I was feeling next to me or follow through. But then I realized that it is that them right then and there. It is that doing this now, I realize. And I'm going to use my mother's passing as an example. I was there back in Ohio while she was
Mm,
transitioning, and then I work here in California, so I came back, and my sister
mm,
and the rest of my family stayed there. So I wasn't
mm,
actually with her on the day that she passed because I needed to come back here for work. But
mm,
I knew it's like in the one morning there was an owl presented on my ceiling. And so when an owl comes onto the ceiling, I asked my teacher, hey, teach, what's this? And that's just a sign that there is going to be a death, but it's not a bad thing. I
Isn't
was
it?
very sad and sorrow that I wasn't there, and it hurts, and you're
Mm-hmm.
going to cry and you're going to grieve. But I also knew that I didn't
Mm,
need to be there, that everybody else was there. They needed to experience that, and it brought a lot of light in their life. Even though it hurt me that I wasn't there, I knew that I didn't need to be there, and I would be there when I needed to be there. And that was
mm,
after she
mm.
passed the next day,
And the
you know.
reason why you didn't need to be there because you can perceive etherically the energies and the spirit. And I mean, I have had a similar experience when my uncle died during COVID and he was in hospital. And I was with him at that very same moment he passed. And that was confirmed. And when I mentioned it to my auntie and I said, this is what's going on right now. And she said, well, I don't know anything about it. I know he's not really well. Da, da, da. And then when she spoke to her sister, the other auntie, she said, actually, you left me the text messages saying this is what's going on now. Do you know how he is? And she said, I've got confirmed that in those 5 minutes, that's when he passed, which is
Oh,
like the most amazing. Yeah, it's the most amazing proof, and evidence that whatever I perceived and all of that, that's what happened. And so how do people contact you? Because not many know what an end of life doula is. I can see that more people are joining us. So good evening, everyone, and thank you so much. Thank you, Christine, for being there as well. So how do people find out about the end of life doula? Will it be for people that obviously will are have cancer, for instance, because obviously they are
it can be
aware
people
that
with any kind of disease. It can be people with anything. And
mm,
I'm grateful that I do now have
mm,
my website that is up, but it's not fully usable yet. But
okay.
it can be people with anything. I mean, there's sometimes people have a feeling that, I don't feel right now. I don't know. I feel like something's going to happen. I'll give you
Mm,
example with one of my good friends, a doctor. I seen him one day and
mm,
he gave me a hug and I'm like, you're going to break my back. What are you doing? And then the next day he was gone, the very next day. And I was
wow.
just like, "Well, what's going on with you, Mark? Are you okay? You're breaking my back." So, I think people sense it when it's going to happen, but
Mm,
they don't really know what it is until they finally get over there and then that they
mm,
see what is
sure,
happening. Some people
sure.
sense it. Some people, it's just instant. They have no, accidents. It's just, we really never know. It can be anything that is going to take us. I mean, sure, cancer and people with illnesses, you can watch them, but on the instant ones, you don't know.
No,
It just
no,
happens.
that's
It's
true.
just like life is like saying that, okay, here you're doing this. And like I was home and there was a motorcycle accident. And so I
Mm,
walked up and I could feel, that it was a shock to him, but he knew and that he went home,
mm, mm,
and
mm, mm,
you just don't know. And so the best thing is to understand and not be frightened of where you're going and your loved ones, is to remember all the good
mm,
times that you had. Even if it was a bad
sure.
relationship with a loved one and you didn't get along,
Mm,
you have to pull the pieces of all the good times that you did have and never,
mhm,
never, never think that you did anything to cause it. You got to learn to
mm,
let your grief go and your anger when it comes towards that person, because you don't want to walk around in life
mm,
with anger, bitterness, and what if
mm.
they did this or
That's so
that, you know?
that's
So,
so true.
and it's tough. It's tough for
Mm,
people.
mm, mm, mm. Mm. I believe will be very tough. What is the or is there a story that you remember particularly when you worked as an end of life doula? Anything that touched you, or you know?
All my life, I didn't know what an end of a life doula was either. I didn't know it exists before my mediumship or anything, but I do know that always I have been there for people who have, sick and going to pass away. It's like this next week coming up. On Monday, my mother would have passed, which is the
Mm,
22nd. On the 24th, one of a partner that I had years ago passed. My best friend on the 25th passed next week. And I didn't know, but I was happy to get into mediumship and follow my desires, and it drawed me to this because grief is very,
mm,
very hard. And there's
mm,
not Nadia. I think she was on one of our Sunday services with Jennifer, and the most thing that stuck with me, and she said, grief never gets smaller. You just get bigger. You get bigger because
mm,
you learn to walk with the
mm,
grief and through your life. And I
mm,
went through a lot of close people in my life, and I think now that I do
mm,
what I do now, I always had the strength to do it, and I have always nurtured people. I just didn't realize it. So
mm,
is my passion. Unfortunately, I do have to work a full-time job and take care of myself for rent, but this is my passion, and that's why I want to get things
yeah.
up and going. And it's basically
Mm,
you just need to sit and listen. You don't tell them you got to do this or you got to do that. You need to listen
mm,
to, because when they
mm,
talk about it,
mm.
they truly do get it out of their system, and it helps. It helps. You just have to listen.
So when they contact you as an end of life doula, what is it that they should be expecting
You know what's
in
funny
terms of
about it?
help?
When people contact me, they don't know, most of the people don't even know that I do this. They just say, hey, this is happening and so and this, and they don't know, but something's guiding them to contact you. something's guiding them.
mm,
And you have
mm,
to, what I do is I listen. I don't boast out what I can do, because some people still doesn't believe in transitioning and what's going to happen. So the most important thing is to listen, and they'll always reach out and contact you when they're feeling down, or if it's the anniversary or something, or they're not moving forward.
mhm,
And the more that they do contact me, they see it and they get it, and that's a good thing.
mm,
So I'm happy that they do contact me,
mm,
and
mm,
I'm able to give them some words, and sometimes a message will spit out. Like, I'll give you an example. My best friend, her husband passed away just this last March, a year ago, and I was with her at the cemetery. And of course, she's a doctor, and she's always like, well, I only wish he knew, or he could see this, or he could see that. And I'm like, Doc, how many times I have to tell you? He sees everything. He's always right there.
mm,
You just got to really believe it within your
mhm,
heart that he is, you know. And so when
mm,
I was at the cemetery with her that day, and she put the flowers there, and rose petal fell out, and it was like in a heart. And she goes, oh, look at that. I said, well, there you go. He's throwing you a heart.
mm,
And then as we were walking away, and I said, here's another sign. I picked this little coin, and on the backside it had a heart, and it said, with love. I said, here's your sign as well. So if you pay attention, they give you signs. You just have to listen. Every thought that you have
thank you.
of your loved ones, they're right there. They're right there. You
Mm,
just have to
mm,
learn to fill in
mm.
and believe. The most important thing is you have to believe first.
One question that came to my mind is, have you ever come across maybe someone that is agnostic and is at the end of the life, and would they ask you questions about the other side?
Oh,
Have
I
you ever
have
come
ran
across
into
anyone like that?
many people like that, yes, because they get curious. But
Wow.
yet the problem with most people is they ask, but then they're still a little fearful, and it's them letting the ego get in the way and not coming from the heart. But I mean, they do
Mm,
ask, and there's a lot of people that I know around in my town that they just don't know and they don't care. But yet, now more and more we sit and we talk about it. And when I'm out in public, people sitting next to me, I can feel spirit, around, and I'm like, no, not
mm,
now. But they'll just start
mm,
talking
mm,
about someone who passed away, or this, or that, da, 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 da. And
mm.
then you just I give them little nitpicks and pivots, because I don't know how they're going to take it. But
Take
you
it,
run
of
into them
course, yeah.
again. Yeah. And
Mm,
they're
mm,
grateful for it. And they like to sit in
wow,
the energy, because I think it
wow.
brings them, and I'll say, well, they're just right there with you.
Mm,
You just have to, you feel
mm,
that. And some people, I'll give them my hand and let them feel the energy coming out of my hand. And they're like, oh,
mhm,
yeah, I do feel that. So
mm.
I'm not really out there big yet, but that's my desire, is just to help people. I mean, if it's just pennies that I might get from it, or nothing, it's better to
I know.
just be there for people and
Right.
help them see.
Yeah. And isn't that amazing? Obviously, I can see people following us. So thank you and good evening to all of you following. And if at any point you would like to ask any questions to Melinda, then please do so in the chat below. So, Melinda, and I understand that in which way does spirit um, help you to guide people needing having to pass at some point? Do you feel that it's you get guided by that, or there is like because obviously you're training, you've been trained, isn't that right? You
Yes.
go, what is the path to become an end of life doula, if anyone feels called by that, for instance?
Well, there is the course that I took, and if you search online, it pops up anywhere. course, end of life doula,
Right.
you know. And my friend Jennifer
Yeah.
Rose is the one that told me about it, and I happened to do it for a week, and it was free because it wasn't, you know, it was expensive, but it was free, and I did it, and I took down numerous notes about it. And by doing that
Right.
course, it got me out there to add to mine as well. And just like this
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, I got a call from my friend Joe who passed. His wife isn't doing well. And so I'm going Saturday to see her because now they're going to put her into hospice. They're starting to take off her medicines and all of that. So, you
Mm-hmm.
know, they contact the family contacts and wants me to go there with them. So I'm going to go do that. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just, it takes people time, but when it gets out there, more and more will contact you. And like I said, the most thing is just to listen to them. Don't tell them they need to do
Mm-hmm.
this, just to listen, and
Mm-hmm.
guided you'll be guided with the right words to say that will stick in their mind. And spirit,
Mm-hmm.
with me doing this, spirit is like you have the heart for it. That's why you'll be good at it. Because as I told you
Mm-hmm.
before, as a child, I was the observer, and being the observer and the
Yeah.
listener, you learn a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So Christine is actually asking a question to you. My daughter-in-law has stage 4 cancer. My son is devastated. He phones me often for support. Should I just listen?
I would suggest with that because it sounds like to me that the son, he knows that eventually it's going to happen, and that she's going to go away, and he's reaching out to mom to hey, realize that you're here for me, right? Because I don't know what I'm going to do. But it's very hurtful for him right now because he doesn't want to go.
Mm,
And the best thing that I would have to say is, just because you don't want her go, you have to remember she's the one with the disease. You have to find a way to let go, and and to let her be free, because she'll always be with you, and you're still going to do fine here. You will learn to walk through it. Like I told you
mm,
before, it gets smaller, you just get bigger. Grief doesn't go away. It gets smaller and you get bigger. um
she's saying that she advised him to just hold his wife's hand.
Hold, nurture. If she's able to speak, listen, talk about the good times, the fun story as she's transitioning. Bring the laughter in, do everything, bring it in. Don't make it sad and sit in silence. Bring it in, bring
Mm,
laughter, bring flowers, hold her
mm,
hand, wipe her face, kiss her on the cheek.
mm,
Just
mm.
treat her as golden as the first day that you met her and you fell in love, and then
Wow.
know that he will be fine once she goes. If he pays attention, he'll know that she's there, and he will get through. It's going to make him stronger, and it's going to make him a really, really better person, because he's very caring. I
Mm,
feel that he's very caring with her, but yet he's a little sad within himself. And he makes me feel like I was when I wasn't able to be there with my mother. But he knows that he has to let it go and just be grateful and thankful for each day that you still have here with her, and make her
mm,
smile and happy and remind her how beautiful she
mm,
is, because
mm,
she is a beautiful soul, and she's just going back and transitioning and going home. Yeah.
mm, mm. And it's very very tough, you know. It's there is just so much, and you know, how would you describe grief?
Grief, how I would describe
Well, we
grief.
have Jennifer or Melinda.
Hi, Jennifer.
Yeah.
To me, I would describe grief. Let me take this off because I'm at work. I would describe grief as, in my opinion, I would tell people that grief is a word that we were taught because you lose somebody, you're sorrow, you're sad, and you're mad. but think of grief as not moving forward, because the most important thing is with grief, you have to move forward. You have to continue on. If you sit and you sit in that grief all the time, you're just going to deteriorate. Grief
mm,
is not feeling sorry for yourself. Grief is you need to let it go, come up and walk with yourself. Go, because it's it's not an easy word to describe. It's a hard
mm,
word only because of the way it came out in this society years and years and years ago. So it's
mm.
it's not easy, but most people they
Yeah.
use grief as a crutch and they stay stuck in that grief, if that makes sense.
Mm.
They use it as a
Absolutely. I mean, yes, absolutely. Thank you. And I just wanted to say thank you and welcome to Jennifer Rose that has been commented as well. She's saying she was on YouTube, but she switched over here to say hello. Jennifer Sedman is saying grief is love, unable to be given physically, she's saying.
That's true, Jennifer.
Um,
Very, very true. Thank you for that.
yes,
It
it
is
is very
love.
true.
And it's like
Mm,
Nadia said, she also says grief is like a treasure. I remember this part too. You put it in a jar, and what you do, you put that jar in your heart, you keep it there, and you learn to live with that box within your heart. But you still
yeah.
must continue on.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. And on media, I've seen, in order to cope with grief, say for instance, particularly people, younger people that leave a young family behind, I've
Mm.
seen some props being produced, like a teddy bear for the children with the voice of the mother, so that can this is following what Jennifer mentioned, Sedman said about unable to give its love unable to be given physically, and so the children can remember the mothers by hugging the teddy bear while it has the mother's voice or something like that.
Yes, I would.
um
That's good for a child. Yes, I have a
yeah, that's
new
for a child.
niece that my great niece, her, like I told you the story, he was shot and killed and they just had a new baby. But this little baby Amari, you can see him inside of her. So sometimes my niece will FaceTime me when she's down, and then the baby will come in and look at me and I'll say, "Hello, Amari," and she'll just go, "Daddy, daddy, daddy." Like she knows
Mm,
I'm the connection through daddy, and you can see her expression and how it changes. So these little
mm,
ones coming in the world are these little angels that they're coming in
yeah.
with the piece of the person that they're missing the most. It's like a piece of them
Mm,
is reincarnated in the new little child, just like I have one that is my mother. You can see my mother and my other niece's daughter. So they're little
mm,
angels coming back, and just pay
mm,
attention because it's a piece of a person that that passed away. When a child comes in, if they're special and they make you happy, it's just the most beautiful thing.
absolutely. What do you think a person could do to cope better with grief? I don't think there is a magic pill, by the way. I'm just,
No.
looking at suppose. I suppose um, it's a lifelong process. I suppose.
Well, I say it is a lifelong process. It doesn't go away. And I would say what they could do is acknowledge your emotions, acknowledge how you're feeling
Mm,
and what it's making you feel, and when there's days that those you need to feel those and you retreat back to it, and that's fine. But you also have to remember to move forward because you're still here. And I always tell people, walk with them, walk in the grief, be strong, become you, but yet continue to live and
mm,
do it for them. Make them proud of you because they're
mm,
walking behind you trying to push you, if that makes
mm.
sense, you know,
Yeah,
and just make them proud. But you have to grieve. Everybody's always going to grieve. It
yes.
doesn't go away. You have to just learn to go with it.
Mm,
It's a
mm, mm,
process.
mm. Absolutely. I have Jennifer Sedman is saying, I'm grieving for my parents and it sure hurts, you know. And Christine Marais says, prayers are, so she says, she just had, while she was talking to us, a phone call from her son again. And she's saying that her daughter-in-law was very ill and today she's improved. But she's saying prayers are powerful. What would you say about that? About
She's saying
prayers?
what? Prayer is
She's
very
saying
powerful.
that prayers are powerful tool.
Prayer is a big time powerful tool.
Mm,
The power of prayer is everything. I wake up every day and I say a prayer for the world. I say a prayer for
mm,
everything because the power of prayer travels. It's just everywhere.
mm,
And if you keep prayer, if she's
mm,
having a good day today, that's beautiful. She's probably going to have a lot of good days, bad days, especially before
mm.
she transitions. And I
Right.
do know out of some people that they look like they're normal. It's like, well, you're not going to pass away. You're your old self. You're fine. And that happens a what as well. They come back and they're normal. They're good. But it's still just their time. The spirit gives them that last little push to say, hey, hey, hey. And I'm a firm believer
Mhm,
too that people hold on a lot of times because they're going to worry about the person that they're leaving behind here on this earth. And so
mhm,
people who are really ill and sick, they hold on as long as possible because they don't know what's you're going to happen to you. So,
mm,
I come to a compromise while they're still alive. Talk about it. Hey, walk with me every day. Let's pray every day before they
mm,
transition, if that makes sense.
mm, mm.
Yeah, just
And
come
do
to
you think people, because, even when we do mediumship and all of that, um, some people talk about people don't want to hear about religion. And therefore, when it comes to prayer, people associate prayer with religion, but it's not that. It's something
it's
that
not.
goes well above that.
Prayer is you just putting a prayer out there for you and your family or whatever. If you believe it goes to a tree, if you believe it goes, into the dirt or whatever, it doesn't basically have to be religion, but you know that there's a powerful force in the universe and that you
Mm,
came from somewhere. So the
mm,
power of prayer is the most important thing that anybody can do.
mm,
It gets me through my
mm,
daily life. I pray all the time in the morning and before I go to sleep at night. I'm thankful and grateful for everything that happened in this day, good or bad.
mm,
Power of prayer is important.
mm, mm. Mm. Would you agree? I normally tend to say, so no, let me ask this question. I tend to say that prayer is asking, meditation is listening. Would you say that prayer allows us to actually open up our heart to the unknown and provide us with the faith that things could get better with praying?
Yes, for me, prayer is I know the power of prayer works and I stay positive and I stay connected in what I believe in. And the power of prayer is important. And if everybody could find it, just if it's for themselves, because it comes from the heart. That's your soul, that's your
Right,
spirit.
right.
We came into the universe, so the power of prayer is right there in your heart. Another beautiful thing that
Mm.
one could do every day as I'm getting ready and I'm finishing my lotion, I hug myself and I say, I love you,
Oh,
I'm here.
wow.
And if you're
Isn't that
missing somebody,
powerful?
you can hug yourself and say, I'm here and I love you, to the person you're missing, and see if you feel their energy. I hug
Oh,
myself
wow.
every
I'll
day
try
and
and
say,
do
I
that.
love you. And then that just
Wow.
brightens your light up inside, and your soul is like, okay, let's go. Let's go do this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's so beautiful. Phil Shoy saying, after 7 years, I feel closer to my mom in the grieving process, which, as Melinda says, never goes away, but it moves to another level, which, in a way, helps you cope with the loss.
Very true, because like I said, he's learning to walk with it. But I'm sure there's those days that sometimes he has to retract and he goes back in it. And
Mm,
that's normal. That's just them coming to you and say, hey, yes, just remember it's always right there. He has that little jar in his heart. But sometimes it's
mm,
always going to come back, because it's a reminder now of how strong we become since it happened. If it was 7 years ago,
mm,
look how
mm,
strong I've become. But you will always retract back. Everybody
mm,
does. Everybody. Like I said
mm,
something to Debbie Romero of next week. I said, I guess I'm a lucky one because I have all these special people who pass with me in this one week. And she says, that has to be a terrible week. How is that lucky? I said, well, I guess I get it
yeah.
all out of the way at once. I don't know. you know?
Oh, bless you.
Yeah. So
Oh,
it's,
wow, that is, you know.
mhm.
And Phil definitely agrees with you. Samantha Jane is saying, I am with you there, Melinda. My son had his son, and he always says that it's his granddad that says it's his granddad come back in his son. Yes.
100%, because they do. They come back.
Yeah,
Especially,
because they
I'm
do.
real in my family, there's four little ones, new ones. And when I see
Mm,
them and they have lost somebody in their family, like I said, I see my mother, I see Art and the little
mm,
girl who was shot and killed, and they're just
mm,
there. They're
mm,
magical children, and they're
mm.
always reminding you of something. Everybody's new baby
Yeah,
has somebody's spirit in them that passed, and it's beautiful.
definitely.
And that's a gift. That right there is a gift to let you know, oh, look, I'm still here. I can come through this little one or this one. And they
Mm,
have their traits, their hair, their looks, everything.
mm,
They have everything.
mm.
And that's a blessing.
Wow.
I mean, and that seems like it just
Yes.
happened after the pandemic or something. It's like there was a shift in the universe is saying like, okay, now a piece of you can go back because your family needs some guidance. There's too many of them missing you all at
Mm,
once. And so I believe
mm,
that's why these little children are having a piece of that person inside of them, which is
mm, mm,
beautiful
mm,
because it brings them up
mm.
out of their grief, but it doesn't go away.
Yes.
I guess if you
No,
believe that
no,
grief
no.
went away, that might not be a good thing, in my opinion, because it shouldn't.
Mm,
Because
mm,
grief takes you back to your heart and to your soul, and it's reminding you how strong and beautiful you are, and look what you've come through. Even it's 40, 50 years, you know.
mm, mm.
Hmm.
Yeah. And Christine Murray is saying a gent came back from the beyond and thanked me for my prayers for him.
Yes. There's one day I was talking with Jennifer Rose. I was on my bike ride, and this lady had gotten killed on her bike. She went off the bike trail, and every time I would ride by there, I would I could feel her, you know. And so I said to Jennifer, "Do you think I should write a note and put it for the family, because her two little children
Mm,
that she had on the bike didn't get killed; they were injured." And so I did. I channeled her. I wrote a note and I put it there.
mm,
And I was like, well, I don't know. And then sitting and doing in a development one day, Fran described the bike trail that I ride my bike on. I see and da 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 da.
mm.
And there's a pink curb, and that's exactly where it was. And that this person is thanking you for the note that you left. So it happens.
Wow.
Hmm.
Wow. That's so powerful, isn't
Yeah.
it? That's
Hmm.
so powerful. Oh my God. Oh, hello, Debbie.
Hello,
Debbie
Debbie.
Romero is with us. Hello, another angel appearing amongst the other many.
Mhm.
And so, do you keep a diary of thoughts and meditations, or, you know, Christine Marie says, sorry, I'm just switching to Christine. The Methodist Church was announcing his passing and he was standing by my right hand side. Yes, they would do, wouldn't
Yes,
they?
yes, that's
Yeah, they
amazing.
will. They will. Some of the souls that pass, to my knowledge and understanding, some souls come back and they're straight away there, and some others they linger for a little
Mhm.
while before they pass to spirit, and therefore they come back. Some of them they may not want to come back for their own reasons. So it is possible. It is absolutely possible. And I can see here
Agree.
everybody saying hi to each other, and that's really lovely and exciting. And I love our community. And so, yes, I was asking you if you keep a diary, or just because I know you like to write poems as well, don't you?
Well, I do channel writing. I don't know that if they come, they might. I write prayers for our Sunday service, you
Oh,
know.
beautiful.
So,
Yeah,
and I
yeah, yeah.
do channel writings, and I have given them like to my boss. I gave her one of her brother who passed. I gave one to my friend Carol, who more believes of her husband who passed, you know. And it helps. And on the day of his funeral, when he passed, and his two daughters got up to talk, I was sitting there, and all
Mm.
of a sudden I saw these two golden little spirits walk up behind them. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, there's Mafus and there's Carol's father joining in on the service. And one of the daughters, Nicole, I told her that. She said, don't tell my mom that right now. I believe you. But then I finally did. So that they do join. They do join for sure.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I did. I mean, this is probably a slightly different story. Nevertheless, I went to meet some friends in South London by the river, and when we came out, it was like a theater thing event. We came out, and there was lots of police and fire brigades and everything, and they were searching the river, and they started talking about someone had drowned, and you know, like, you just look on, as you do sometimes, you know, just to see all of the commotion and everything that's going on. And then suddenly I see the spirit of a young man hovering over a certain spot of the river,
Mhm.
and I was a bit upset because he started talking to me, and he said, can you please ask them? He said, like, oh my God, I don't understand what's happened to me, that I was not meant to go. And you know, he was really, really desperate, and he told me his age, he told me his name. And so
Wow.
I told my friends next to me, and I said, oh my God, what do I do now? Do I go and tell the police? I mean, you know. And so all I felt I could do was to try and reassure this boy, you know. And so, long story short, the next day, an article obviously appeared in the London News, and that was exactly his age and the name he had given me, you
Ooh.
know. And you know, I had these two friends with me, and I was really upset. You know, I started crying because I just wanted to help him, and I didn't know what else I could do. You
Mhm.
know, so sometimes they can be visible. And
Yes.
yes, I know, Jennifer. It was a huge responsibility, you know. And you know, and then I kind of had to connect to my one of my dear friends, a mentor, who is no longer with us these days.
Mhm.
And he said, you did the right thing. Because I said, like, I didn't, you know what stopped me from go to the police and tell them. the fact that there was obviously the media, and I didn't want to, appear in the news saying
Right.
medium, like to police.
Hmm.
It's like a very fine, and if I was to do that, wouldn't be to seek attention as such. It
Correct.
would be purely to be of help and to be of service.
Hmm.
And that was like very, I know that, they did find the boy after a number of hours, and he was in the spot where he was hovering, basically,
Hmm.
and he was telling me, and his grandfather was there in spirit with the child, and the child was desperate, and he was saying to me, I had so much planned for my life, um, Jennifer says you might have become a suspect. I don't think so, but you
No,
never
I mean,
know.
I don't think I would have said anything to the authorities either. Like with the gentleman on
No.
the motorcycle, I wanted to walk up as close as I possibly could, and these two girls were sitting on the car, and I could feel him. But then all I thought was, it's okay, just go, just go. And then all of a sudden, you could feel he wasn't there anymore. And my two sisters who were on the sidewalk was like, wow, that was powerful. That was amazing. It got bright there for a second. And I just let the girls on the car, I found out later that one of them was his girlfriend, that he's fine. He's good. He's not there anymore. He's gone.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's just all in what you believe in, and just know that uh, for anybody who doesn't understand what happened.
Apologies. He just
Are we still here?
disappeared from the screen for a second.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
just gotta
just disappeared
hug
for a
yourself
second.
every
Sorry.
day and love
Um,
yourself every day and feel what your spirit is.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Hmm.
Mm-mm, absolutely. And when you do channel messages, do you write them down or you just go with the flow,
When I do a
basically?
channel message, if it's like I do a channel for a person who has passed. Like I said, with my boss, I did with my friend, and I did for my niece.
Okay.
I asked them to come in, and I sit
Uh-huh.
in with the intent to channel, and they'll give me a message. I will write it down, and then I will pass it on to them. And yes, I have many books of journals and things that I have written all
Yeah.
over the place. Maybe one day when I go home, somebody will pick them up and read them.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it gives them
Yeah.
a lot of help and solitude, and you
Yeah.
can channel them. Yeah,
Debbie's
and
saying that
sometimes
you
you
gave
feel the
her
love.
one.
It's like, whoa, what was
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Debbie's saying that you gave her one
I did
channeling,
give
and she
Debbie
said, "Oh
one.
my God, it was amazing." It was amazing. And Colin is saying, "Hello, Colin. Nice to see you here. Lovely to see you, Danielle
Hello,
and
Colin.
Melinda, together. Indeed, indeed. And good evening to Marina Potter as well. Welcome. Nice to see you back as well. And yeah, this is like, the most amazing. Yeah, I just thought like it would have been lovely, to have you in again and just, talk us through about the process of, the end of life doula. And what is, you think, um, this is the question that I've been thinking that I wanted to ask you. I think you might have touched on this, but I want to bring us back to it. So when it comes to people about to pass and they say that they can see spirit and they start talking to spirit just before they pass, have you ever experienced that yourself?
I have seen the spirit there in my mother's room before. There was nothing but spirit in her room the whole time. And even
Mm,
my family members can see it. A funny story about her is when we first put her in there, there was this red balloon up in the skylight. And then all of a sudden, we went to go get something to drink and come back, and the red balloon was in her room. And it barely had air or anything. It just floated around in her room. And then you could see her looking out the window. It's like, hey, Mom, what are you looking at? Who's out there? Oh, nobody. She wouldn't tell you, but she could see, and you could see little orbs of spirit going around in the room. And so on the day that she passed, when they were all there, once everybody got over the shock of it, they all went into the room to get the balloon, and the balloon was gone. No sign of the balloon at all. It was gone.
Oh, wow. Jennifer Sedman is saying, I would have loved to see spirit in my mother's room. I couldn't see them, but I certainly felt them.
Well, if you felt them, yes, it's the same thing. I'm lucky. I'm one that can see. They give me visions on the wall when I do work and everything, and I can see the orbs and everything. So it's beautiful, and a lot of people can feel it. It's the energy that they feel, but they're not focused enough to see. But it's just beautiful. But I thought it was amazing about the balloon. I'm like, what do you mean the balloon is gone? But it was just gone.
It's gone. Yeah, well, it's
Yeah.
gone.
So it's like the celebration of the balloon when we took her in there is like, well, here's a balloon and it's in her room. It's like they were already there waiting for her. So they were letting, I would say now they were letting us know that we're all right here when you're not. We're always all right here. And that would be her family, her brothers, sisters, my father, everybody, Then it just disappeared.
Yeah.
And so somebody did a mural on the wall over here, and they put a red balloon on it, like that one, a heart red balloon. So I was at the traffic light, and I took a picture, and I put it on the family site, and I said, I found Mama's balloon.
There are a lot of things that, people, they don't spend enough time with their loved ones and all of that. And I really loved when you mentioned earlier on, that the best thing that you can do when someone, is passing is just to do the most simple of the gestures, such as stroking of the cheek, for instance, like a caress, or, holding the hand, or just remembering
music, their favorite music, softly.
Favorite music and all of that.
Because that shows
absolutely.
them that you're ready to let them go, that you'll be okay as well. Because like I said, a lot of them worry of what's going to happen if I leave them. So that's just letting that when you do that I'm going to do my best to get through this without you, because I know you're always just going to be right here.
Yeah. Marina Potter is saying, I felt my grandmother when my dad passed over. When he passed over, the curtain flapped in the window and it was still day, and I knew he had left us then.
Yes, there you go.
This
so that's
back
good.
to
Open-hearted person right there. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Hello, good evening, Iris.
Hi,
Iris, welcome. You. Jennifer is saying, I worked in a care home and felt the energy when someone passed over. It felt like the room was full. The balloon is amazing, though. She liked your story with the balloon thing.
When I used to go in my mom's nursing home, you could feel. and they all gravitate to you too. The people,
absolutely, and you can sense also the room temperature is also feels a bit chilly, isn't it? There is a chill in the air.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because the temperature suddenly drop, and it's one of the when you sit in a circle, for instance, and you train with mediumships and all of that, sometimes you may experience temperature drop, and you feel cold and shivers. And that's because you're blended so well with spirit that you can sense them,
Yes.
like with you at the time. So it's one of the things that we experience firsthand when we work with spirit, right?
Yes.
Christine says she was chosen to hold the hand of people when they were passing. They came back and thanked me. How
Yes. Yes.
beautiful.
Because a lot of times people are there that don't have anybody. So it's beautiful if you work in that and you just sit there and you hold their hand
True.
and you're there with them. It's the most beautiful thing that you could do for them. And they will come back and thank you. Yeah. Mhm.
Yes, absolutely. And Debbie's saying, yes, I was honored to hold space for my mom. The
Yes.
colors shown to me was remarkable.
Yes. And I bet it was very
Yes.
bright, beautiful, golden. Hmm.
Mhm. And Marina is saying, I think it is an honor to be with someone pass over, even if it is a very emotional time.
Right.
It must be most difficult time, really.
Because there's so many people
And
that are in those places that have no one that's there. They're just put in there and laugh. So when someone works in a place like that and they sit, God bless you. God bless your heart
mm,
because that's all they
yeah,
need. And that's a beautiful thing. And that just brightens
yeah,
them up inside too. And that shows them how
mm,
connected that they are with the
mm,
spirit and they know
absolutely.
how to channel it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's I feel that it is a remarkable type of service to be given, um, because it offers so much comfort to both the family and the person that is
Right.
dying. Would you say what are the main stages of someone knowing that they need to pass? You would say.
Well,
Do you think that there would be anger, or there is acceptance, or there isn't really acceptance?
in my opinion, I believe that the anger and the fear of not wanting to go keeps them here. And then when they do
Ah,
go, they come to realize that, oh, this is going to be okay. Because, in my opinion, everybody that passes, if it's in a nursing home or by a disease or even a fast accident, they see all their loved ones there and they see it. And I think
mm,
sometimes that they might not want to go because they're seeing people that they didn't even get along with in life or had a bad trial. But yet, when they transition, all is done and all is taken care of. So they let go and they go peacefully.
mm, mm. Christine says she hugged a gent and told him that his wife would be there to meet him. He came back and confirmed it.
Yes. Yes.
Isn't
See,
it
that's beautiful.
amazing? Christine, you
Well, hello,
you have
Fran.
some interesting stories there, isn't
Yes,
she?
yes.
It's so beautiful to have the honor and to hold the space really for people, that
Mhm.
are passing. And Holistic Harmonies says Melinda,
That's
so
Fran.
must be someone.
Hello, Fran.
Oh, Fran! Oh, Fran! Hello,
It's
Fran!
Fran.
Yes, I know Fran.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, hi, hi. So, yeah, well, you see, we are coming towards now the end of the evening, and this
Uh-huh.
has been so beautiful because normally what I do, I have my guests, and then we talk, and then we go and, we do some mediumship. But I felt the energy was so beautiful. I
Mhm.
felt like we were going to spoil it. Oh, we got a question actually. So Donna Jackson is asking, why do some choose to pass when you leave the room? Oh yes, I see what she means.
Because you weren't meant to be there, just like I wasn't meant to be there when my mother passed. I would say because you wasn't
Uh,
meant to be there because you already knew, and that's simple as that. You are not meant to be there. The right people, if
wow.
there is someone in the room, or is meant to be there to experience it.
Because the story goes, if from what I've heard, that sometimes the person passing is, or the soul is waiting for them to go, because they don't want to be seen passing, basically. But
Yeah.
you know, as you say, it could be simply the fact that it's not meant. Phil is saying, yes, my mum passed when I had taken a break, having previously been with her for 7 hours.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, Melinda, I would love for you to come back,
Okay.
and we can have another chat, and we'll be, you know, I will be sending you on the side some more dates for you to come back, because I think
Okay.
this has been absolutely beautiful to have
Yes.
here.
Good
You,
energy, Melinda.
as I said right at the beginning, you bring with you such a wonderful, calming energy about you, and you do such a wonderful, you know, job by with your self service, by helping families and people and families of the people that are passing, and the people, ill people as well. And it's probably not a job for everyone, but coming from a spiritual and personal background, I feel for you it's been more of a natural call rather than,
Yes.
you know, yeah, it's
I
been,
believe
I
so.
mean, as you mentioned, yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, you got guided by Jennifer Rose,
Yes.
because as yourself, you weren't aware even of what, you know, the
But it
end of life
was.
doula.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. So you did find out. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Jennifer
And thank
Sedman
you
is
for
saying, I said, yes. Jennifer is saying, I said everything to my mother at the end, left her to be with my dad who came to collect her. I gave her my blessings to pass. When she was
beautiful.
ready, kissed her on and left. She passed away shortly afterwards.
Yes. So good.
So,
That's beautiful,
yes, I
Jennifer.
think it
Beautiful.
was good.
Yes.
Absolutely beautiful. And so everybody's thanking us now then. So Melinda, thank you ever so much. It's been an
Well, thank
honor.
you, Daniela,
And
for inviting me and having me. And like I said, I have a website there, but it's just in the works. But it is up
oops,
online and it's
okay,
cosmicrising.com. You can't click on the
cosmic
buttons yet, but soon it will be there. And I'm here to talk.
wonder.
If you just need to talk, it doesn't cost anything to talk for someone
No, that
to
is true.
listen. Yes.
That is true. Absolutely, absolutely. And is there anything that you will be doing coming up, that if people want to come and see you, any lives or anything
Well, I'm
planned?
always with Jennifer Rose on her Sunday service that she puts on every 2 weeks. I
Mm-hmm.
understand on May 3rd, Jennifer Rose's new TV show that she has, she's going to
Uh-huh.
have Fran and I there live. And I'm hoping
Oh,
one
no.
day, wink, wink, Debbie will have me on as well. So now I'm getting out there.
Yes. Woo-hoo. And you should. You really should.
Yeah. So
Thank you ever so much. And
thank you so
we
much.
will see you on this channel again soon, I'm sure. And
Okay.
thank you absolutely, everyone. It's been always an
Yes. Thank
honor
you,
on the
everyone, for
School of
being here.
Conscious Evolution. We are here to offer, you know, free information on all that is spirituality, awakenings, and anything that will help us to, you know, go through, you know, in this case, you know, passing and or awakening, and how we can evolve, which is hence the School of Conscious Evolution. Thank you, everyone, again, and good
Full of
night.
love,
See you next
light,
week.
grace, gratitude, belief. And hug yourself
Yes.
every day and tell yourself how much you love you.
Yourself.
Hug yourself.
Absolutely. I'm going to be doing it, that's for sure.
Yes. All
Thank
right. So
you.
thank you
Thank you
so much. I
again. God
appreciate
bless
it.
you.
God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you. Speak
All
to
right.
you soon. You take
Okay. Bye.
care. And thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye. Bye. Bye.